Hi everyone, we've got another chart to look at. This is going to be the new moon chart in Capricorn. And this is going to be at January 16th at 9:18 p.m. Eastern time, but times could vary. I have not looked at this at all. This is the last one before we're going to have the other big eclipse chart coming up too. The next one we're going to have that other Leo eclipse. That'll be our next one that we look at, the Leo full moon eclipse, which is kind of the counterpart to a new moon eclipse back in January. So here it is. Boy, is there a lot of Capricorn stuff. Wow. Venus at 28 Capricorn. The Sun and Moon at 26 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto at 19 degrees. Mercury at 8 degrees. Lilith at 7 degrees. Saturn at 3 degrees. So we're having a... Capricorn is the dominant energy, no doubt about it, you know. It's really, what I like about this, just off the top, you know, here, is that it's conjunct Venus. So that's going to, I think, give a nice time. I mean, it's 7 degrees, it's a wide orb. I mean, all these other ones here are in the sign of Capricorn, yes, but they are not conjunct. You know, these are inside of Capricorn, but they're at lower degrees. The conjunction is with Venus. We've got Venus here at 28. It's better just to blow it up. You know, we've got the Venus here at 28, and then the 26 and stuff over here with Capricorn. So Venus being in there, that's a nice, that gives us some, hopefully, like some levity, some little bit of positive vibes. Venus always will can soften things that it touches, you know, makes it more sweet. Makes it more sweet and kind and loving and soft and all that good stuff. So hopefully that Venus is going to be there. But it's still igniting all this. Pluto's been hanging out in Capricorn for some time, and then, you know, this new moon is igniting that energy again. So that's the powers that be, you know. I feel like the Pluto in Capricorn has been all these power struggles, you know, the patriarchy and the power struggles, and, you know, and what we go back to the Pluto square Uranus, which this new moon is squaring Uranus and squaring Pallas here, but definitely squaring Uranus. So it's I feel like it can reignite a lot of the things that were going on during that Pluto-Uranus square that we were dealing with. And that was, I think, mostly in 2016 and then 2017 to some extent. And I think in America, a lot of it, in the United States, a lot of it played out in a political way, you know. All the anger and uproar and over the election and the presidential election and stuff like that. And of course that's well over with by now, but I feel like those root things are still present. And we've got the energy of the Uranus and Aries, the new revolution, the new movement. We're going to have a revolution. It's the youth. It's the new way of doing things. We're free from you. You have freedom from constraints, from the man, you know, because sometimes Capricorn and Saturn could be seen as like the man. You know, the man's not going to boss me around. The man's not going to tell me what to do. We're going to be blazing a new trail, pioneers on a new trail, a new adventure. And then Pluto's like, hold on there. I'm still the boss here. I'm still running things. No, I don't like change. I like, it's good to be king. That's more of a Leo thing, but it's good to be the CEO. You know, I don't like that things change. I don't want to give you my power. You know, I want all the power. And I don't want to share. I don't want to give the little guy any power. You know, it's me. It's all about me and dominate. I am the top of the heap. I am the boss man. I am the person at the top. The thing that's different than a lot of about the Capricorn energy, though, than a lot of the people or the entities, or whatever you want to call them, the ones that are in these positions of power. The thing about Capricorn is usually they work their way up from the bottom. That's, you know, it's symbolic of the goat climbing up the mountain from the bottom to the top, one foot in front of the other. You know, I always use the analogy with eating the tin cans along the way. So many Capricorns are self-made. You know, Capricorns isn't usually somebody who's is spoiled or had a life of privilege, you know. and everything was handed to them on a silver platter or silver spoon. You know, usually the Capricorn energy works their way up from the top. So I think that's why they don't like to, you know, relinquish any power, because they had to bite and claw their way, you know, up there, and now they've gotten there. I don't know how I got off on that, but I was talking about, you know, people who are not apathetic, who are at the top and don't care about poor or suffering, or just more for them, you know. Many of them are of that type. You know, they came from a life of privilege, and they have no clue. You know, they have no clue what it's like. They have no empathy. They can't relate at all. Chiron sextiling this, so that there comes the empathy. There comes the altruism, the empathy, the caring for, because with it being in Pisces here and this Neptune and everything, this is, whether you know it or not, you know, it's you too. You've been that. It's all a game, you know. It's all a game, and you think that money and power is a game. Well, your incarnation is a big game. You could look at it that way, you know. And you know, you've been that. You've been that person. You or whoever, you incarnate on all different levels here, you know. So it's not just well, I'm rich and you're poor and I don't care. It's not cut and dry. It's multi-layered. It's multi-dimensional. It's multiple everything, you know, timelines, everything. So there's a lot more to it than that. But when we get a big concentration of a certain type of energy, no matter what it is, it's hard to see outside of that. It's hard to it could be hard to allow these other things to come through. There's fear involved. There's fear of losing your power. There's fear of an uprising, and you know, they're gonna take over, and you know, like the storm the Bastille, or, you know, there's a fear of that. And then there's fear on the other side too, of not having enough to survive, you know, not having rights and liberties taken away, having health care taken away, you know. So there's a lot of fear going on, and there's a lot of tension. These squares bring up tension. And so it's kind of nice that we have the Chiron in there as a sextile to kind of soften things. And Mars is also sextiling. I just noticed that. Mars and Scorpio. Yeah, that's real subtle and soft. Mars and Scorpio, right? For you astrologers out there, it's quite the opposite. If you're not really an astrologer, it's quite the opposite. Mars and Scorpio is a force to be reckoned with. It could be volatile. It can be dangerous. It can be, I'm hearing murderous. I don't want to say that, but that's what I just heard. Murderous. Wow. Now, so we've got all this stuff's in the pot. You know, we're stirring the pot. Chiron is like our only way out of it, I think. I mean, I don't see Mars and Scorpio really helping anything. As far as anger, Mars and Scorpio is, you know, I have Venus in Scorpio, so it seems like during my life I've drawn a lot of Mars and Scorpio people to me. I've known a lot of Mars and Scorpio people, and man, when they go off, it's just like, and a lot of times it's just, you don't even see it coming, you know, because Scorpios in general are really, you know, stable people. I like Scorpio people a lot. I have Scorpio rising. I have many. My best friends over the years have been Scorpios, and Scorpio rising. It's my whole entire life, pretty much. And but when you put that Mars in Scorpio, that's some volatile energy. That's like I've seen them just snap and just go off. I mean, and you're just standing there like, whoa, where'd that come from? How'd that happen? So Mars in Scorpio is not, it can be contentious. Well, they don't want to be pushed. They don't want to be pushed by anybody. Capricorn, I don't care how many guys you have over here, Capricorn. You're not, you know, you're no match for Mars and Scorpio. know, if you're thinking, well, I've got all the power, I've got all these guys behind me, I'm going to go mess with this Mars and Scorpio, you're going to get your ass kicked, you know, if you push them too far. So I don't know that that's really helping. I don't know that that's going to help for cooler heads prevail, or any kind of, to ease the tension of the square, or for any kind of negotiations or peace to be found. I don't know. I don't think that's the other thing that's at, you know, it's at 26 degrees. We've got 24, 24, 25. Those are the three things that are making aspects, unless I'm missing anything. Jupiter square the node still. Yeah, we got to talk about that. Uranus square the Sun. Yeah, the Sun squaring. They have it squaring Venus too. Yeah, it is. So a lot of squares. You know, there's a lot of squares. Pluto trying the ascendant. That's meaningless because this isn't even a. Oh, I guess it would be the real ascendant. Well, it's not meaningless, but it's not really anything I'm gonna look at. So we have Mars conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter squares the nodes. So that means Mars is squaring the nodes. Well, then Mars is out of it a little bit. There's a fight going on. There's a battle going on, and it's a battle on so many levels, because the nodes wants us to align with our true path. The node wants us to get aligned with our true path, to experience all our glory. North Node in Leo, we want to experience our glory, right? We want to experience the fun things in life, the joys of life, the creation of life. And, you know, this square, it's really amplifying that, but there's a battle for that, you know. And it's going on inside of us, from within, and it's going on in an outward way through politics and wars and, you know, everything. There's a lot of, there's battles being fought on all sorts of different levels. And the only thing I can see is really the Chiron and Pisces. Every part of ourselves, all of our lives, all of our incarnations, all of our experiences, we've all experienced, everybody's walked in the moccasins. You know, just because in this incarnation, you know, you're this, or in this timeline, you're this. You could even just throw the incarnation thing out the window if you don't believe in past lives, but I mean, I believe in it a lot. I mean, I've seen it too many times. You know, I've seen it in others and my own since I was a child, but you can throw that part out and we can just go with timelines, you know. How do you know in another timeline that you're not one of these, or you're not one of these, you know? You can, there's a fortune, you know, the wheel of fortune, the spirals. They're showing me like the spirals, you know. It's just like in another life, in another parallel life, if not for like they say the words, if not for the grace, there go I. If not for the grace of God, there go I believe is the original expression. Well, I think, you know, we could make choices, or things, there could have been different turns of fate for many of us. And we would be in a completely different scenario in this incarnation. You know, and you don't even have to get into all the way out there multiple timelines. Just, you know, you turn down a path and you go this way instead of that way, and your whole life changes. Sometimes you go this way instead of that way, and your whole life changes for the better. I mean, that happens too, you know. So Chiron is also it's about realizing we all are one. It's one love. It's realizing we've all been through all of this. Either, you know, even from the perspective, you can take it completely from another perspective of we're just all part of the one, or we're all part of God, or whatever you want to call it, you know. So we're all part of the same, we're the drops in the ocean, you know, with water and the Chiron. And we're all different drops in the ocean. Whether you want to believe you're experiencing this in a parallel timeline, or you've experienced it in a past life, you could take all that out of the equation and just say how we're all drops in the ocean and we're all part of the same thing. So that is the way that I can see for some relief, because it really is very tenacious. I was going to say there's a lot of tension. I guess tenacious would be the word. There's a lot of tension, a lot of tenacity. Pluto is sextiling Jupiter. Oh yeah, well, Pluto is sextiling Jupiter. exact, like pretty much exact. 19 degrees 20 minutes, 19 degrees 25 minutes. So sextiles do bring harmony, as I was saying, but I feel like the Mars being there is not helping anything, you know. Maybe once Mars gets out of the way, then we could feel a little bit more of the benefit of this Jupiter. Because if you push Mars and Scorpio, you don't push, you don't mess with the Mars. When you mess with, you push, it's not even they're going to push back, they're just going to disintegrate you. You know, they're going to annihilate you. I mean, you don't mess with Mars and Scorpio. It's volatile. It's violent. It can be violent. It can be, I mean, Mars and Scorpio people can go off. And it's 1 minute you're having a conversation. See, what's happening is they're sitting over there stewing. And you don't even realize they're stewing. And then they'll get real quiet. And when they're sitting there stewing, they're being quiet. And then, just like out of nowhere, bam. You know, and you'll know. You'll feel that scorpion sting. You'll know. So, somebody who's just sitting there being quiet, maybe they're the most, they might be the most thing that we need to pay attention to. I think that might be a message that we're getting out of that little scenario. Somebody who's quiet and it's not, yeah, blah, blah, you did this, no, 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 blah, blah, you know, yelling and back and forth and going on and on. The quiet one. That's you got to watch out for, the quiet one, because they could sneak in and phew, everything's flipped before you know it. You know, everything is just, Scorpio's death and rebirth. Everything changes. It's death and rebirth. And with Jupiter and Scorpio, everything is going to change. Of that you can be sure. This is also a part of how in America where all the sexual abuse stuff is all coming out, and the sexual misconduct in with the powerful people, you know, the powerful males. So far it's been males, but you know, and somebody made this point, and I'm sure it's true, that I'm sure that there are females who have done that. They've never been, you know, very, very few females were ever in a position of power to do such a thing, but I would say that it's not, I would say it's not unheard of, and I'm sure it does happen. But what's coming out now is a lot about the male, the patriarchy, and their sexual misconduct and that, and they're angry, and rightfully so. You know, rightfully so, they're angry. Well, our girl Vesta has moved over into Sagittarius. Let's see what's going on there, and what else. And it's going to be, it's making an aspect with our Juno and Vesta are making an aspect together. And these are, of course, the asteroids, and they're both feminine. Juno is the goddess of love. Vesta is the Vestal Virgins, the mother, home, and hearth, the goddess of the hearth. Vesta had her own temple. That came up in a reading. It was something about, I picked up on somebody about Vesta had their own temple. And sometimes you gotta go to the temple, I think, really. I mean, and it could be go to temple if you're Jewish, or church if you're whatever, or mosque. But I'm feeling it's more like, it's almost like stay out of it, you know, stay out of the mix. Wait till this calms down a little bit. I know I'm certainly trying to. Stay, you know, go to do good deeds. That's what I'm hearing. Go and do good deeds. Like in the olden times, the people who lived in the monasteries or whatnot, you know, they were doing doing charitable work. They were praying. They were doing spiritual work. They, I remember there was a quote from Mother Teresa, for instance, about something about, I won't have a march against war, but I'll have a march for peace all day long. You know, focusing on that aspect of it, and law of attraction. You know, not focusing on what you don't want, or what's wrong with them, and they're bad. Because again, with the Chiron, we've all been them, and if not for the, you know, the turn of the fate, there go I. And just focus on doing good deeds. You know, she just focused on feeding people, and I'm sure somebody's going to have some remark about Mother Teresa. You know, hey, that's just one example, you know. I brought her up because of that quote of, and it's not a quote, it's a, oh gosh, I can't even think about it. What do you call that when you, summation or whatever, when it's not an exact quote. But it was, I won't have a protest against the war, but I'll have a march for peace any day. Because energies get amplified. Energies get amplified. Anger is an energy that is very amplified, and there could be a lot of that going on here with the squares, and then this squares going on here, and the Scorpio stuff being involved, and Aries stuff being involved. Both can have very bad tempers and have a short fuse. I don't think Scorpio has a short fuse. You just don't see it's going on, that the fuse has been lit until they're about ready to go, and it's like, whoa. Like I said, they'll sit there stewing. I forgot what I was saying, I'm sorry. But yeah, don't give attention to what we don't want. There's a lot of energy. Anger is a strong, strong emotion. You know, that's why I'm always against like people with the fuck cancer shirts and stuff. Or, you know, don't say fuck cancer. Say fucking A, healthy or something, you know. Because that's, you're saying, you know, you're putting a lot of energy and hatred, and you're amplifying. It's an amplification of energy. So the way through is realization that we've all walked in each other's boots or whatever, you know, the moccasin thing. And then, you know, through diligent doers of good deeds. That's what I'm hearing, I think. Focus on, well, what positive thing can I do? You know, what positive thing? Instead of spewing hatred, getting in the argument, amplifying energy, because that's just amplifying opposition and war and anger. You know, so it's just amplifying. Emotions run high. Emotions run high when we're talking this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just like asking yourself every day, well, what is something positive I can do about it? Yeah, there's things that we don't like, plenty of them, because we're in a, you know, a universe of being shown that what we don't like, but we don't want to get stuck in what we don't like. And I'm guilty of this too. You know, you get stuck in what you don't like. Okay, so I've experienced what I don't like. Now what can I do towards creation of what I do like? What can I, people that, well, they're this or they're that, or they're, don't you care that there's poor people and they need help? Well, what can I do to help poor people? You know, instead of trying to, you know, convince somebody or force somebody or try to change somebody, because you're not going to do anything with this. What do you think you're going to do with this? You think you're going to change this? At least not right this minute. I mean, give it a minute. I'm not saying that change isn't coming or change isn't going to happen, but this isn't the time. They got a, you know, they've got an army there practically. You know, they've got a huge lineup, and I don't even care if Mars is whoever. Nobody is a match for this. This is just going to tire you out, exhaust you, and waste your energy. You know, trying to fight against that. Well, some of this stuff scooting on over here into Aquarius. We're still going to have Pluto and Saturn in there, but and Lilith. But this isn't the time to pick a fight. You know, this isn't a time to try to win the war, or even pick a fight, or even choose your battle. It's not a time for battle. I mean, the energy is ripe for it. It's rife for it. Sure, the energy is rife for battle. But it doesn't seem like it would be going anywhere. It doesn't. It seems like it's just resistance is futile. You know. Look within inside yourself. Realize this is all part of you and your experience on your soul's journey, as well as just your experience on this earth walk. That this is duality, and you're seeing what you don't want, and realize that you've been there, and be thankful that maybe you've grown beyond that. Because Aries is infancy. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and Pisces is the last. So when you get to, in your soul evolution, when you get to things that are in the 12th house or into Pisces, you've done a lot of growth. And you've walked in many moccasins by that time, you know. And it's like the pearls to swine thing too. You know, don't throw pearls to swine. You don't have to get down in the mud and roll around with the swine. Do it for your own soul growth. Do it for your own well-being, your own spiritual healing. And this is like doing the good deeds. Learning new ways. Learning ninth house Sag, just is like we're going to learn. It's spiritual growth as well, but it's also learning. It's like learn, okay, I don't like these people because X, Y, Z. I think that they should be, I don't like them. I don't like what they're doing. Well, maybe take a minute to learn a little. Take a little minute to understand, because I tell you, you've walked in those shoes, you know, and looking down on somebody because you're so much further along is not true soul growth or spiritual evolution, you know. Like saying, well, I'm so above you because I'm in the 27th dimension and you're still down in the 3rd dimension, or whatever, that kind of stuff. What does that do? Is that helping anything? Is that helping anybody? Then if you're in the 27th dimension, why did you incarnate on Earth? You came here to do something, and not to brag about how many dimensions high you are, or whatever, you know, or I studied with this yogi and that yogi and this, so I'm so much, you know. Is that why you came to Earth? Tell everybody how great you are and how much further along you are and why you deserve more pieces of the pie than anybody else? No, I don't think so. And, you know, that's all true. Maybe you are in the 27th dimension, and maybe you have studied with a bunch of different yogis and, you know, different things. But, so what are you going to do with that? You're just going to sit on your mountain and say, well, I'm so above it all? Or you're here on Earth. If you're listening to this video, you are here on Earth. You are in a 3D body. And you came here for some reason. You know, you came here to do something. And it's not to get into fights with people. And it's not to shame people. And it's not to, you know, everybody's going to find their own way, you know. There's many different people at different levels on this planet. That's for sure. But, and it doesn't, you know, if you look at your chart, if you look at your birth chart, it's nobody's, you know, nobody's ascended master again, or you wouldn't be here, number one. But number two, like if you say this was a birth chart, yeah, okay, they've got this Chiron and Pisces, they're really far along on that, but look, they're just starting on this stuff over here. So there's some areas of your life where maybe you're really advanced, and then others where you start, and it's a continuous cycle, it's a continuous circle, it's a continuous cycle. With every incarnation, you make choices about what you're going to work on. And this will show up in your natal, and that's the gist of the soul reading, is what I do. I look at that for you. But back to this chart. There's a lot of contention. There's a lot of upset about who has the power. I want the power. No, I'm keeping the power. There could be volatile anger and violence. I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't want to be a jerk about it, but there could be some of this energy floating around here. So, if you call yourself a light worker, or you call yourself, if you feel like that's part of your soul mission, then let's go over here. Let's elevate that energy. Let's put that energy, let's send it out. Let's do the good deeds. Let's do the healing, you know. Expand on that. Expand on that. Not say, listen, you're a negative, you have a lot of negative energy. You. And I'm going to tell you all about it. You know, this stuff. You're right in there. By this you pointing the finger stuff, choom, you just lost it. And that's another thing too. I think it fluctuates. You know, there's days when I have ultimate peace and I'm one, and then there's other days when I want to wring somebody's neck. You know, nobody's on the cloud all the time, and I was going to say nobody's down in the muck all the time, but many people live a great portion of their life down in the muck, unfortunately. So even if you're on the spiritual path and you're going this Chiron Neptune route, and you're trying to do that and elevate through Sagittarius and the higher spiritual growth, you have days when you're stuck in traffic, or you know, this or that gets on, like everybody else. You know, the point is to try to not stay on it too much. And I'll tell you what, I would just stay out of it for right now. That's my plan. I'm just gonna stay out of this mess, because I could just see things really escalating, tempers flaring, anger, a lot of stuff like that. And we're trying to adjust our course, and we're not all on the same page of where the course should go, you know, by a long shot, you know. There has to be some unity as in the United States, as a country. There has to be some kind of united path that we travel. And us as incarnated beings on planet Earth, as humans, you know, we all have to get together with this, you know. We've failed miserably at it again and again. The South Node Aquarius, this is playing out. The node of Aquarius and Leo is, the Aquarian node is the all for one thing, uniting of humanity, advancement of civilization, advancement of humanity. And then the downside, there's a lot of good side about, like I said earlier about the Leo node, but the downside of it is I'm the king. It's good to be king. You know, it's like, you know, the dude with the big belly and the crown and the grapes and all that. You know, that's what I see, like the negative side of Leo on an esoteric level. I don't know if that's Baca or Old King Cole or whoever it was. I don't know. But he was a merry old soul after all, right? Old King Cole. Alright, yeah, and a little humor and levity. That's something we could definitely take from Leo. That never hurts, right? Yeah, so some wild stuff here. It won't be long. It'll only be another few days or a week or so till a lot of this stuff has moved on. So it's not saying, well, just don't fight with anybody. Be a mouse. Don't, you know, don't express your opinion. Let people walk all over you. No. Focus on what you can do. Focus on the light. Focus on yourself and your journey, and realize how much of this is different versions of yourself playing out right back at you, if not in this incarnation and others. I mean, that's really my truth. That's what I see as the truth of it all. Okay, so here's that chart. There's no more year ahead readings. I've put those down. Thank you everybody who ordered them. I love doing them. You can please visit my site. You can find out a bunch of other stuff. The t-shirts are back online now. They seem to be. You can find that under the art section. If you click this bottom link, it takes you to the whole main page. And I did one for the eclipse. It's a wolf moon. It's a wolf moon, a whole bunch of stuff. But I took my beast mistress. Oh, I don't have to blow this up. I can go like this, right? Oh no, it's not letting me. There it goes. I took the beast mistress. I was going to put it on a shirt anyway, the wolf card. And then I put it as an eclipse shirt. And there's always a bunch of cool ones there, you know. 2018, the year of a dog. So most of them seem to be back on, or at least a good selection. So if you know, there was Amazon was doing that crazy stuff. I am going to offer some sort of love reading for February. Probably going to be lots of love in a pay-per-view scenario, maybe on YouTube, but I'll still post the free ones. So people please don't freak out if I end up putting them on YouTube as well in a pay-per-view. I'm not going to do Vimeo. And then secondly, I'm going to offer some sort of love reading for Valentine's. I haven't for sure. It's probably going to be some sort of astrology, like a synastry reading. It may just be a synastry report, or I may offer to do some kind of a reading. I haven't pinned that down yet. I'll be announcing that soon. I'm going to get the Lots of Love done this coming week, and the free tarot readings for YouTube, and then by then I'll have it nailed down. Also, if you are into esoteric, I do have and then under the readings, what I was just talking about is called the soul reading. This is the soul's journey reading. This is it, where I look at your past lives and your soul path through your chart. Also, on the same line of the astrology, I do the tapestry of life's mandalas, which is these. It's a full circle. It's your chart. It's your wheel and your aspect, and then I fill it in. And it's really cool because these things inside of here really contain stuff too. Like you'll see stuff in there. It's kind of like a scrying tool, and it shows a lot. It's a pretty cool thing. So if you haven't before, go ahead and please check it out. So here is the chart for that new moon. I advise to lay low. It's not the best. I mean, what you think with the new moon in Capricorn, yeah, maybe it might be a good day to launch some sort of career thing or business. But I don't know. I would say that you would run into a lot of problems with all this contention and everything. I would wait until at least this stuff moves out of here, because I think that's quite a bit of... It's just a lot of squares and stuff. The Chiron could help, but I mean, just look at this. Look at this. So it reminds me of like somebody scratched like a kid when they just got a violin and don't know how to play it. Scratching on the bow on the strings. That's what that reminds me of. But anyway, so here's the chart. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all your support by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. You can see the subscribe button below, and purchasing my wares. I have decks and books and a couple of things I just showed you there, t-shirts and whatnot. I did some Women's March ones too. I should put those up. I have it under a different name though. Well, if I remember. Remember that you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great new moon in Capricorn. And lay low. Okay. Till next time.